My child, stop right here. Do not scroll past this moment. Look at me right now. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your eyes to these words today. You did not stumble upon this message by accident. I guided your spirit to this exact intersection because your weary heart desperately needs to hear my voice. Give me just a few minutes of your time, and I promise you will not regret staying right here with me. Something heavy has been weighing on your chest for far too long. I am stepping directly into your day because I see the secret battles you have been fighting in silence. You have been carrying the painful weight of yesterday on your shoulders. You convince yourself that you have to be strong for everyone else, smiling on the outside while quietly breaking on the inside. Listen to me in the deepest place of your heart. Pause where you are and let your shoulders relax for just 1 second. Breathe deeply, my child. The rush of the world can wait while I speak to you. I see how exhausted you really are. Not just in your physical body, but in your very soul. You have been fighting storm after storm without telling a single person how much it hurts. If you feel me speaking directly to your heart today, take a small step of faith right now. Comment Amen in the section below as an act of agreement between your spirit and mine. Write those 4 letters to anchor your faith in this moment. Declaring Amen is your way of telling me that you choose to trust my plan over your fears. Do not let distractions steal this moment away from you. I know the thoughts that keep you awake when the rest of the world is sleeping soundly. I saw you lying in the dark at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling with a heavy heart. Your mind was racing through every decision you ever made. You replayed your old mistakes over and over again like a painful film that never ends. You kept searching for the exact moment where things went wrong. You have sat in the quiet darkness and asked yourself painful questions that you were too afraid to whisper aloud. You wondered if you ruined the destiny I prepared for you. You asked if your past failures disqualified you from the blessings I promised. You thought that because you stumbled, the door to your breakthrough was permanently closed. But hear me today with every fiber of your being. Your past mistakes do not define the future I prepared for you. Read those words again and let them settle into your weary spirit. The enemy wants you to believe that your story ended the moment you made a wrong turn. He wants you trapped in a cage of guilt and shame. He whispers lies into the silence of your mind, telling you that you are damaged goods and that you will never recover. He reminds you of your past because he is terrified of your future. Look at me right now, my beloved child. The adversary does not waste his time attacking someone who has no purpose. He targets you relentlessly because he senses the immense light I placed inside your soul. He sees the powerful destiny waiting on the other side of your healing, and he is trying everything to stop you from stepping into it. I saw every single tear you tried so hard to hide from the world. I saw you fold yourself into the smallest shape in the bathroom, pressing your face into a towel so no one would hear you cry. I saw you wipe your eyes quickly before walking out the door to face your family with a smile. Not a single one of those tears was lost or forgotten by me. I counted every tear that fell from your eyes, and I kept them all in my hands. You thought you were completely alone in those dark hours, but I was standing right beside you in the room. I was holding your spirit together when you felt like you were about to fall apart completely. You felt an invisible presence keeping you steady, and that was me protecting you when your own strength failed. You have spent years carrying the burden of regret like a heavy chain wrapped around your heart. You judge yourself far more harshly than anyone else ever could. You look at others and wonder why their lives seem so smooth and peaceful, while your path feels so steep and rocky. You feel like you arrived late to your own life, trailing behind everyone else while you struggle to catch up. But I am telling you today that you are not behind. Heaven does not measure time the way human beings measure time. What you called a painful delay was actually my divine protection. What you viewed as a devastating setback was actually me resetting your entire foundation. I had to hold you back from certain rooms because those rooms were never designed to hold your true calling. I allowed certain doors to shut tight in your face to protect your heart from being broken beyond repair. You wept over those closed doors, thinking I was withholding good things from your life, but I was shielding you from traps you could not see with your human eyes. I removed certain people from your life because their hands were not clean enough to carry the sacred future I am building for you. I know you feel tired of trying to pick up the broken pieces on your own. You have tried so hard to fix everything using your own limited human strength. You tried to prove your worth through constant effort and endless striving. But you were never meant to carry this heavy burden alone. You were designed to lean on my infinite grace, not on your own fragile strength. Look at your past through my eyes for just one moment today. Where you see ash, I see the fertile ground for a beautiful creation. Where you see a ruin, I see the perfect foundation for a new beginning. I am the God who turns your greatest failures into your most powerful testimonies. I do not throw away broken vessels. I remold them into masterpieces of my glory. Do not let the loud noise of your yesterday drown out the quiet promise of your tomorrow. The chapter you are grieving was just a page in a much bigger book that I am writing for your life. Your story does not end in the valley of regret. The enemy thought he had defeated you when you fell, but he failed to realize that every time you fell into my hands. There is a holy reason why you felt a strange restlessness stirring inside your chest over the past few weeks. It was not anxiety, and it was not confusion. It was your spirit sensing that a major shift is taking place in the unseen realm right now. The long waiting season that drained your strength is finally coming to a close, and a new season is dawning. Stay right here with me for the next few minutes because I am about to reveal a sacred truth that will shatter the invisible chains holding you back. Before I reveal the future I have written for you, I must first walk with you into the quiet room you lock every single night. Let us go into that dark space together, so I can replace your hidden shame with my unshakable peace. You have been guarding that quiet room for years, keeping the doors locked because you believed the shame inside was too ugly for anyone to see. You thought that if people knew the full truth of your past, they would walk away from you. You even believed that I would turn my face away from you in disgust. But my child, I already know every single thing you have ever done. And my love for you has never diminished for a single second. I was there in the very moment you made the choice you regret the most. I saw the pressure you were under, and I saw the fear that drove your decision. I did not abandon you then, and I will not abandon you now. What you view as an unforgivable stain is simply a place where my grace is about to overflow. The world judges you by your worst moment, but I measure you by the potential I placed inside your spirit before the foundation of the world was laid. Stop looking back at the wreckage behind you when I am trying to point your eyes toward the horizon ahead. You cannot step into the bright future I prepared while you are still holding on to the ghost of who you used to be. The past is a graveyard of old memories, and you were not created to live among the dead. I am calling you forward into the light, and I am asking you to trust me with the steps ahead. Let go of the heavy guilt that has been draining your spirit day after day. Release the need to fix what is already past, and hand those broken pieces over to me. I am standing right in front of you with open arms, ready to wash away every trace of condemnation that has held you hostage. Take a deep breath, my beloved child, and let my peace flood into the dark corners of your heart right now. Come closer, my child, and let me speak softly to the part of you that is most tired. I want to walk with you into the deep valley of your past regrets. You have spent years replaying the moments you wish you could rewrite. You look at the choices you made, and a cold, heavy wave of shame washes over your spirit. And every single time you look back at those stumbles, you wonder how someone who loves me could have made such foolish decisions along the way. I saw you sitting on the floor of your bedroom when the weight of those thoughts became unbearable. You folded your arms tightly around your chest as if trying to hold your breaking world together. You whispered to the empty air that you were sorry. You felt as though you had disappointed everyone who ever believed in you. You carried that silent condemnation into your morning, pretending to be whole while feeling completely hollow inside. The enemy has used those moments to construct a prison of inadequacy around your soul. He tells you that holy blessings are meant for people who walked a cleaner path than yours. He tells you that your mistakes stripped away the authority I placed in your hands. And while you watch other people step into their breakthrough, That quiet lie whispers that you missed your chance forever. Do not believe those bitter lies for another second, my beloved child. I see every hidden wound you have ever tried to mask from the world. If you feel my loving presence wrapping around your spirit in this very room, take a moment to respond to my voice. Comment "You see me" in the section below to open your heart to my restoration. Let those words be your declaration that you are no longer hiding your pain from my eyes. Hear me clearly in the quiet center of your heart today. I was not absent when you fell. I stood beside you in the exact hour of your weakness, watching over you with eyes full of tenderness and mercy. When you thought I had turned my face away in anger, I was actually drawing closer to protect your spirit from being completely destroyed. Not a single mistake you ever made caught me by surprise. I know what you are thinking right now in the quiet corners of your mind. You are thinking about the long seasons when you prayed desperately for help and heard nothing but silence. You wondered if I was ignoring your cries, or if your past mistakes had made you invisible to heaven. My child, my silence was never my rejection. There were answers I withheld because a yes in that season would have cost you everything. I was not ignoring your pain while you wept in the dark. I was rearranging things you could not see from your earthly perspective. Every prayer you thought went unanswered was being held safely in my hands while I built a stronger foundation beneath your feet. I had to let the old structures crumble so that I could construct something eternal in your life. The waiting was not a punishment. It was my precise and loving preparation. What you called a season of failure, I have named the molding season. Remember what I named this moment in your life. It was never your destruction. It was the necessary pressure required to shape your heart for the sacred wait ahead. A raw vessel cannot hold the full glory of the harvest until it has passed through the heat of the fire. You were not being broken down. You were being formed into something glorious. The enemy saw what I was building inside your spirit during those quiet years. Because he could not stop my plan for your life, he flooded your mind with constant static and confusion. He filled your days with anxiety and your nights with restless doubt, hoping to drown out the gentle sound of my voice. He wanted to convince you that the noise in your head was your true identity, making you forget the sacred purpose I breathed into your soul. My child, I need you to hear this truth with absolute clarity today. The silence and confusion you experienced were not my absence. The enemy has been filling the atmosphere around you with noise, a constant static so overwhelming that my voice and my provisions became invisible to you even while they sat right on your path. I have not abandoned you to this storm. I have been preparing a way out for you. I guided someone to bring you an instrument of restoration, a provision designed to quiet that static completely. I will show you exactly what it is before this message ends. But first you must understand what was done to block it. You were never meant to live in a state of constant mental chaos and spiritual exhaustion. When I created your mind, I designed it to receive my thoughts with effortless peace and crystal clarity. But the relentless noise of the world, combined with the heavy burden of your past regrets, blocked the divine channel I placed within you. You began to believe that the static was normal, forgetting the serene rhythm of your original creation. Look at your soul through my eyes for a moment, my child. A precious jewel, covered in dust and mud, does not lose a single fraction of its value. The dirt may hide its brilliance from human eyes, but the master who created the jewel knows its true worth. Your past mistakes are merely dust upon the surface of your destiny. They can never alter the divine value I stamped upon your spirit before you drew your first breath. You have spent so much energy worrying about what others think of your past stumbles. You shrunk yourself down in crowded rooms, afraid that someone would point out your old flaws and remind you of where you failed. But hear me today, my child. The opinions of human beings do not hold the pen that writes your future. I am the sole author of your story, and I have already written the final chapter of your victory. Breathe deeply, my child, and let your racing thoughts come to a complete standstill right now. Do you feel that quiet warmth gently expanding inside your chest as I speak these words over you? That is not imagination, and it is not random emotion. That is my presence moving through the unseen realm to restore the peace that was stolen from you. Let your heart absorb this truth like dry ground receiving long-awaited rain. Every single mistake you made was transformed by my grace the moment you called out to me. I took the very things the enemy meant for your shame and turned them into the raw material for your authority. The person who has been forgiven much is the person who loves much. The warrior who has survived the deepest fire is the warrior who can guide others through the dark without trembling. Your scars are not signs of weakness, they are medals of endurance. Sit up, my child, because a holy shift is occurring in your mind this very second. The heavy cloud of self-condemnation is beginning to lift from your shoulders, making room for the light of your new beginning. I am about to show you the sacred mechanism I placed inside your brain that the enemy tried so hard to drown out. Stay right here with me, for I am opening the door to the restoration you have begged for. Let me show you how your story turns from mourning into dancing. There was a young man I placed a great dream inside long ago. He was faithful and pure in his heart, yet I allowed him to be thrown into a dark pit by his own brothers. He sat in the cold, damp silence of that cistern, weeping in confusion and wondering why his story took such a cruel turn. He wondered if his own words or past mistakes had brought that terrible disaster upon his head. For 13 long years, he was moved from the pit to a dark prison cell. He felt completely forgotten by everyone he had ever helped along his journey. But I was not absent from his suffering for a single second. I was building something deep beneath the surface that no earthly palace could ever have taught him. I was forging his spirit in the dark so that he could carry the weight of an entire nation later. My child, the pit you have been sitting in is not your grave. It is your preparation room. The dream I placed inside your soul when you were young did not die in the darkness. What looked like a devastating delay was simply the precise time required to shape your character. You cannot carry a sacred future with a fragile spirit, so I used the fire to make you strong and resilient. You have looked at your past stumbles and felt as though you were disqualified from my highest promises. You saw others moving forward while you remained trapped in the same painful location. But Joseph waited 13 years in the dark before I lifted him to the throne in a single day. Your waiting season was never a sign of my abandonment. It was the necessary foundation for your elevation. Now let me uncover the hidden mechanism behind the years you thought were completely wasted. I have watched you replay your worst decisions at night, searching for the exact moment where your life went off track. You convinced yourself that you ruined your own destiny through your foolishness. You believed that because you stumbled, you were forced to settle for a smaller life than the one I planned. My child, that belief is a cruel lie, and I am exposing it right now. You were not falling behind during those difficult years. What you called a season of failure was actually the sacred process I named the molding season. Remember what I named this season. I allowed those doors to close and those plans to fail, because I was pruning away the heavy things that would have destroyed your future. You needed to learn that your ultimate strength comes from my grace, not from your own cleverness. Every time you fell, you learned how to pray with a truly humble heart. Every time human help failed you, you learned how to rely completely on my hands. So those painful years were not wasted at all. They were the very forge where your spiritual authority was born into reality. The next time the enemy whispers that you ruined your life, do not engage in his deceptive argument. Place your hand over your heart and declare aloud that your spirit was simply being prepared for a greater glory. If you receive this truth into your soul right now, take a moment to respond to my voice. Comment, "My past is forgiven," in the section below to anchor your complete liberation today. Let those words seal your freedom from yesterday. Now listen closely, for I want to reveal how I am restoring the clarity that was stolen from your life. When I created the human mind, I placed a sacred frequency at its very center. Scientists who have spent their entire lives studying the human brain have confirmed its existence, and they call it the gamma wave signal. It ran freely in your spirit when you were a small child without any effort or striving. It is the exact reason why children trust so purely, learn so effortlessly, and live with complete joy in the present moment. I designed the human brain to operate at that specific frequency of divine receptivity. That is why I told my followers long ago that unless you change and become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom. I was speaking not only of your spirit, but of the very signal I placed in your brain. As you grew older, the enemy used the endless pressure of the world to drown out that sacred frequency. The heavy weight of your past mistakes, the constant noise of daily survival, and the static of anxiety buried the signal I placed inside you. You were trying to hear my gentle voice through a thick wall of mental noise. You thought I had stopped speaking, but your receiver was simply covered in static. Because I see your weariness, I guided wise minds to work with sound the way I originally designed it. I inspired researchers to create a precise sound frequency tool that clears the enemy noise from your mind. You do not have to work hard for it, and you do not have to strain your weary mind. You simply surrender for 7 minutes with headphones on and allow my design to restore what was taken from you. This tool is not a worldly technique, and it is not a generic sound you can find on popular music apps. It is a specific sound provision that I guided into existence to clear the static from your brain. It returns your mind to that childlike state of receptivity, allowing my blessings to flow into your life once again without friction. I am going to show you exactly where to find what they built before this message ends. Stay right here with me. I know there is a quiet question lingering in the back of your thoughts right now. You are wondering if a simple sound frequency can truly bring relief to a heart that has been heavy for years. You wonder if this is just another promise that will leave you feeling disappointed again. My child, caution is wisdom, and I am not offended by your questions. But notice the quiet stirring inside your chest as I speak to you right now. That quiet warmth inside your spirit is your witness that my voice is speaking to you. You have tried relying on your own willpower, and it left you exhausted. You have tried carrying the burden alone, and it left you broken. Now let me provide the earthly tools I aligned for your restoration. Trust the quiet witness inside your spirit, rather than the loud doubt that has kept you trapped in yesterday. Sit up, my beloved child, and let the truth settle deep into your soul. The season of weeping over what you lost in yesterday is officially coming to an end. I am declaring over you right now that the pattern of regret ends today. The heavy chains of shame that bound your family will not hold your life any longer. You are the one I chose to break the generational cycle of failure in your family line. I am taking the bitter memories that used to make you hide your face, and I am turning them into your greatest weapons. The enemy thought he had silenced you forever when you made that mistake, but I am placing a fresh holy fire inside your mouth. You will speak with a gentleness that heals the brokenhearted, because you know what it feels like to sit in the ashes of defeat and be restored by my mercy. Look at me with eyes of faith, for I am making all things new in your life today. What was broken is being remade right now in the unseen realm. What was delayed is being released with interest into your hands. Do not look back at the dark valley behind you, because the mountain peak I prepared for you is rising right before your eyes. Prepare your heart, for the doors are opening now. There is no mountain too high for my grace to flatten, and there is no mistake too deep for my love to reach. You thought your story was written in ink that could never be erased, but my hand is rewriting every page right now. The shame that defined your past is dissolving into the peace that will define your future. Stand firm in this truth, my child, for your morning has finally arrived. Listen to my voice right now, for I am breaking the authority of your past over your life. I declare over you that the chapter of regret is closed forever. The heavy labels the world gave you are being stripped away by my holy hands this very second. You are not damaged goods, and you are not a failure. You are my beloved child, washed clean and restored by my eternal grace. The enemy thought he had defeated you when you stumbled, but he made a fatal mistake. He did not realize that every time you fell into my hands. I am raising you up right now from the ashes of yesterday. I am placing a fresh mantle of authority on your shoulders. The waiting season is over, and the door to your breakthrough is swinging open at my command. Do not look back at the dark valley behind you for another single second. The mountain peak I prepared for you is rising right before your eyes. If you receive this declaration into your spirit, take a step of agreement right now. Comment, "I receive my future" in the section below as heaven unlocks your new season. Let those words seal your complete liberation today. Now I want to explain how I aligned a specific provision for your restoration. I have gifted humanity with the wisdom to discover secrets I hidden in sound. I quietly guided wise minds and researchers across decades of study. I directed their work at Princeton and Columbia to confirm what I placed in your brain at creation. I want to show you what I did for two of my children who received this before you. One of my daughters, named Rachel, carried a heavy cloud of anxiety for years. Her marriage was falling apart, and her mind was filled with constant static. She prayed sincerely, but her spirit remained exhausted. 2 weeks after receiving the sound provision I guided into existence, something cleared inside her mind. Her marriage was transformed, peace flooded her home, and she said her channel was finally open. And for others, I moved differently in their practical needs. A son named Michael was struggling with constant financial pressure and mental fog. He needed clarity for his business and peace for his family. 2 months after surrendering to this provision for 7 minutes a day, his mind became sharp. Solutions arrived while he rested, his business expanded, and the heavy burden lifted from his life. They call this sound provision the Genius Song. Read those words and know that I placed this tool on your path today. It is a precise soundtrack designed to clear the noise of the enemy from your mind. It reactivates the gamma wave signal I placed in your brain when I created you. It returns your mind to that childlike state of receptivity where my blessings flow without hindrance. This tool is not a generic meditation track or something you can find on music streaming apps. Those are worldly imitations that carry none of the restorative frequency I designed. The Genius Song requires no hard work and no mental strain from you. You simply put on headphones, close your eyes for 7 minutes, and surrender the noise to me. You let my design restore what was stolen. I know there is a child listening to me who has tried everything before. You tried prayers, techniques, and endless self-help methods, only to feel disappointed again. You feel slightly embarrassed to try one more thing today. But hear me with your whole heart. What failed you in the past required your own human effort. This provision requires none of your striving. I designed this sound provision to work not because of your discipline, but because of my design inside your brain. You are not buying a worldly product. You are receiving a divine provision that I aligned for this exact season of your life. It is time to stop trying to heal yourself with your own empty strength, and let me restore your spirit. Those in elite circles pay thousands of dollars for sessions with experts to access this state of mind. But I do not call you to expensive clinics or complex machines. I place this provision within reach for a small earthly exchange, a mustard seed investment for the great harvest I prepared for you. It is a small act of trust that proves your willingness to receive. When you receive this provision today, I am also including 4 additional gifts I aligned for your journey. You will receive a guide to help your children focus and grow in confidence. You will receive the original text of wisdom on true abundance, a guided spiritual visualization track, and an infographic for daily habits. All these gifts are added to strengthen your restored mind. Where I place truth, the enemy always attempts to place counterfeits. Do not be led astray by false frequencies circulating on streaming platforms under similar names. They do not carry the sacred signal I designed. Protect your spirit and access only the official provision I placed for you below in the pinned comment and in the description. Walk forward without any fear, my child, for you are completely protected. This step of faith requires no worldly risk on your part. You are covered by a full 60-day money-back guarantee. If this tool does not bring the mental clarity and peace I promised, every earthly cent is returned to you. I do not lead my children into danger or loss. Take this step of obedience today. Access the provision I placed for you in the pinned comment below and in the description. Embrace what I have set before your eyes as an act of faith. Do not let distraction or fear convince you to scroll away from your invitation. Step forward and receive what I prepared for your healing. Picture a morning 6 months from now in your mind. You wake up before your alarm, and for the first time in years, there is no heavy knot sitting in your stomach. The dark cloud of regret that followed you for decades is simply gone. You breathe deeply, and your first thought is not fear, but a quiet joy for the day ahead. That version of you is not a distant fantasy, my child. She already exists in the future I wrote for your life. She is standing on the other side of one decision to let go of your past and step into my provision. The distance between you and that restored life is simply your willingness to receive my grace today. Now set aside the noise of decision for a moment, my beloved child. Whether you take that step of faith right now or a little later, you remain held safely in my hands. My love for you is not a transactional deal, and my mercy is not something you have to earn through desperate human striving. Take a deep breath and let your shoulders drop into complete stillness right now. I am still right here beside you in this quiet room, and there is more I want to speak over your soul before this message closes. You have spent so many long years trying to carry the heavy weight of the world on your fragile human shoulders. You tried to control every single outcome and fix every broken situation with your own limited strength. But true peace begins in the exact moment you stop striving and simply surrender the outcome to me. Lay down those heavy bags of worry right at my feet today. You do not have to figure out how tomorrow will unfold, because I am already standing in your future, preparing the path for your feet. Let the quiet warmth of my presence wash through every dark corner of your weary heart right now. Every bitter memory of failure that used to make you cringe with shame is losing its power over your mind this very second. I have cast your past transgressions into the deepest sea, and I remember them no more. When the adversary tries to bring up your old mistakes tomorrow morning, remind him that those debts were settled in full. You walk in complete liberty because I have declared you clean. Look at who you are becoming in this beautiful new season of your life. You are no longer the frightened survivor hiding from the painful shadows of yesterday. You are no longer defined by the worst decision you ever made or the deepest valley you ever walked through. I am raising you up to stand as a beacon of hope for others who are still lost in their own dark nights. You will carry an unshakable peace into every room you step into because you know the true depth of the grace that restored your soul. I speak a holy blessing over your mind and your spirit in this very hour. I command every storm of anxiety to cease, and I declare a divine stillness over your racing thoughts. May the heavy fog of depression lift from your spirit and dissolve into complete nothingness right now. I restore to you the pure joy of your salvation, and I fill your heart with a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken by bad news or human opinions. You will sleep in sweet peace tonight, knowing that I am watching over you. I speak my divine protection over your home and over your loved ones today. Let the atmosphere of your house be saturated with my holy presence from this day forward. Where there was constant conflict and bitter tension, I bring my restorative peace and understanding. Where there was financial lack and pressing fear, I open the hidden windows of heaven to supply all your daily needs. The generational patterns of sorrow that plagued those who came before you end with your life today. You are the chosen cycle breaker in your family line, and your children will walk in the light of the freedom you secured today. The heavy burdens that were passed down to you through generations are being shattered into dust by my authority. Your home will be called a house of refuge, and your table will be a place of healing for weary souls. Do not look back at the captivity you left behind, for you are stepping into an inheritance of grace that will overflow to everyone around you. When you wake up tomorrow morning, walk with your head held high as a true heir to my unshakable kingdom. Do not shrink back in fear when old doubts knock on the door of your mind. Put on the spiritual armor I provided for you, and stand firm in your divine identity. You carry the mark of my favor upon your forehead. No weapon formed against your spirit shall prosper, and every voice that rises to accuse you shall be silenced by the authority of my truth. Your life carries an immense purpose that the noise and chaos of yesterday could never destroy. Every step you take from this day forward is ordered by my loving hands with absolute precision. You will walk into open doors that no human being can shut, and you will receive opportunities that your own strength could never have created. Walk in boldness, my child, for the Creator of heaven and earth is going before you to level every steep mountain in your path. Remember that my timing is always perfect, even when it feels slow to your human heart. When you encounter a brief delay or a closed door in the days ahead, do not panic and do not fall back into old fears. Trust that I am working behind the scenes to align something far greater than what you asked for. What looks like a pause to your eyes is simply me positioning you for maximum impact. Rest in my wisdom, and know that I never lose control of the story I am writing for your life. I am placing a fresh holy fire inside your chest that will warm everyone you meet. People will look at your face and notice a quiet light that they cannot explain with human words. They will ask you how you remained so calm during the storm, and you will tell them about the mercy that picked you up from the dust. Your life will become a living sanctuary where tired souls find rest, and your testimony will break the chains of those who are trapped in hopelessness. Do not let the precious peace you received in these moments be stolen away by the endless noise of the world. Seal this divine appointment with a simple act of faith in this very moment. Like this video as a physical sign of your agreement with what I have spoken over your life today. Let your click be a seal upon your promise to leave yesterday behind and walk forward into the light I prepared for your steps. Share this message with 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope in the darkness right now. You know people in your life who are silently carrying heavy burdens and pretending to be strong. Be the hands that deliver my comfort to their weary hearts. By sharing this message, you become a vessel of my light, spreading the same healing that transformed your own spirit today. Do not withhold the bread of life from those who are starving for a word of hope. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you stay connected to my daily guidance. Do not miss the words of encouragement and strength I am preparing for your next steps. By staying connected, you construct a strong fortress of faith around your spirit that the adversary cannot penetrate. I am equipping you step by step, day by day, and I will ensure that your spiritual vessel remains full of my fresh oil. Comment Amen in the section below to lock in the blessing and declare your complete trust in my word. Let those 4 letters be your final shout of victory over the ghost of your past mistakes. As you write those words, feel the last remaining traces of guilt and shame leave your heart forever. You are standing on solid ground, surrounded by my angels and shielded by my unconditional love. Now receive my final blessing as you step forward into your bright and beautiful new day. May my peace, which surpasses all human understanding, guard your heart and your mind continuously. May my grace be the soft cushion beneath your feet, and may my love be the bright light that guides your path through every shadow. You are loved beyond measure, you are forgiven completely, and you are never alone. I walk beside you through every hour, holding your hand in mine until we cross into glory. Amen and amen.